Senator E.J. Pipkin. What passed here in Maryland as the Firearms Safety Act of 2013 is a true tragedy. At the end of the day, a missed opportunity to be able to improve the safety in our schools and our homes. All we've really done with this bill is to take law-abiding citizens and bring them into the legal process. Why do I say that? Well, there was an opportunity here. Supposedly, we have 45 firearms in the bill that are now going to be banned. But out of those 45 firearms, none of them was used in a homicide in the state of Maryland in the last year. We now have fingerprinting for law-abiding citizens if they want to go out and buy a new gun. The fact of the matter is that's supposed to set up, the reason given for that was to prevent straw purchases where someone else buys a gun for someone else. The fact of the matter is that in prosecutions of straw man purchases in the state of Maryland are non-existent. So 0 on the whole issue related to straw purchases, 0 on the issue of preventing gun violence by trying to use a particular gun. The real tragedy, though, is the missed opportunity that was had here. There could have been some consensus on being able to keep guns out of the hands of those that have mental illnesses and how to deal with that question, all shoveled aside in the final bill. We could have put forward the issue of putting security resource officers in our schools so that our schools will be safer. Again, shoved aside in the final bill. And the sense of fairness and the issue dealing with criminals and how those criminals that use guns in the commitment of violent crimes, the idea that we would take away their diminution credits and other things for them to make those criminals who use guns in the commitment of violence pay more of a price for what they do, that's not in the bill. All those had some kind of general consensus to move forward. Those are the things that would have made our streets and schools safer. None of that is in this bill. So at the end of the day, we end up with pages and pages of rules and regulations that in effect will actually be a gun ban in the state of Maryland, much of which I think will be eventually thrown out by the courts. But the idea that somehow with the passage of this bill, the majority somehow is going to protect our schools and our streets, just not true. So the final bill kind of takes into account the idea, different from the way the governor proposed, is that if you currently owned a gun that is going to be banned by this bill, you will not have to register it if you already own it. The challenge with the bill is not in any one particular provision, whether it be related to munitions, whether it belong to the definition of guns, whether it's the licensing provision, whether it's some of the existing mental health provisions that survived the bill, whether the penalty portion of the bill, all those areas and how they interact, that's the real danger of the bill. Many of the things you would look at and say, well, that's not a big deal, but when you put it together with how things are going to be penalized, the things you have to do to get licensed, the fact that we don't have a lot of gun ranges in Maryland, the fact you're going to have to take law-abiding citizens to get fingerprinted, to exercise a right, how all that interacts is what complicates the bill. It's going to take months to figure out how the interaction is going to play out in the real world. The fact that the state police today can't process the guns under the existing rules to be able for law-abiding citizens to buy guns, this just really complicates that matter.